What's up, LTD addicts? Let's talk about Tooltip. Tooltip lets you add marketing messages or user interface guidance to any website where you can inject a little bit of code. We're talking banners, pop-ups, and of course, tooltips. Now, there's currently a lifetime deal running at AppSumo, and in this video, I'm going to walk through all of the features of Tooltip and help you decide whether it's worth your 49 bucks. Stay tuned. Hi, I'm Dave from that LTD.life, where I review software tools with lifetime offers. If you want to follow along with this tooltip review, you can click the link in the description. That is the referral link for the channel. So if you find value in this review, it kicks us back a little bit of money here. Let's get right into it. This is AppSumo's deal page for Tooltip. 49 bucks is the entry price, and you can see the sales page as I scroll along to the pricing plans here. So the way that this is going to work is $49 is going to get you 20,000 monthly active users. Now you can use Tooltip on as many websites as you like. You can create as many campaigns using Tooltip as you like, but you'll be limited to those 20,000 monthly active users. Now you might wonder, at least I wondered, how are they keeping track of what a monthly active user is? Well, they're placing a cookie on your browser, or your user's browser, I should say. And if that same user returns to your website 3 or 4 or 10 times throughout the course of the month, they'll be counted as one user. However, if they clear their cookies or if they're browsing on a different device, then they're going to be counted as 2 users. So just keep in mind that you want to look kind of at your Google Analytics and see how many unique users you're getting per month, and that'll help you decide how many codes you want to stack, because each code is going to give you an additional 20,000 users, and you can stack up to 5 codes, which would give you, of course, 100,000 monthly active users. So that's how the deal works. Now let's get into how the software itself functions. One of the first things you're going to need to do after you get your Tooltip account set up is you're going to want to add the Tooltip editor Chrome extension. I've already got installed here. You can see it's up in the little extension area in Chrome, but you will need Chrome in order to use Tooltip. After you have the Chrome extension installed, simply go to the website that you want to add a tooltip or a pop-up or a banner and turn on that Chrome extension. You will see the editor pop up asking you to name your project. I'm going to call this one ThriveCart. What I'm going to end up doing is adding an exit intent pop-up to this ThriveCart checkout page. So now that I've given the project a name, the tooltip editing controls pop up over here. Now to add a new item to this page, I'll just go over to the little plus button and hit add campaign. Here are the different elements that you can add. You can do a tooltip, which is basically a little notification that helps guide the user through your site. You can do a hotspot, which appears after you hover over an item. You can add a slide out, which looks like that. Here is a pop-up. Everyone knows what a pop-up is, of course. There's notifications, which are kind of similar to social proof type of notifications. You can do a bar that slides in from the top. You can have a banner. Sometimes I think there's a product called Hello Bar. It's been very successful. That's kind of what this banner item looks like. And you can also just do a container, which is going to be basically adding some content to the page. So right now, what I want to do is add a pop-up to this ThriveCart page. So I'll do add pop-up. I can add an image or a video right here. I'll just click right there and I can click add image. Then I can simply drag and drop a new image into the area. And there we go. Now the options to kind of fill it out, I can choose center, fill, fit height, or fit width. So I think in this option, I will choose fit height and see how that looks. Okay, great. And now I can write a headline and I'll say, don't go yet. And then I'll add some copy down here below and I'll say, is this too expensive? How about 10% off? And from there, I can either have OK kind of close down this item, or really what I'll probably end up doing in this case is just removing that. Now there are more elements I can add in terms of inputs, which would be basically a form, right? So if you're trying to capture leads, you'd choose that. Or of course you can just have a button, and the buttons you'll be able to link up, and I can hit this little gear button and I can have an action here. So I can have it close the window, which is the default function. We can have it open a new link, show a different campaign, campaign. Now in Tooltip, a different campaign is a different item, a different like a pop-up or something to show up, or I can have it run some JavaScript if I wanted it to say launch a bot or something like that. So for now, I'm just going to leave this off. I don't need that at all, just to show this exit intent. But what I do need to do is tell the pop-up that I want it to display only when exit intent actions occur. So I'll click up here in this little area with the sliders. And what I'm going to do is, first of all, publish the campaign so it's displayed to users, and then show campaign on exit intent or page exit. It can only show on this page right now. However, I could remove that and show it on the entire domain, or I could add another page over here and have it show on, say, 2 or 3 different products. Let's say you have some variations of a product here on ThriveCart, and that would work quite well. Now, I want to add that even if you don't have ThriveCart, you can use this on any software as a service that allows you to inject something like a Facebook tracking pixel. If you can do that, you should be able to add Tooltip without any real issue. All right, here we go. We're all set. I think everything looks fairly good. I do have some other options here. I can segment who this displays to, which is quite nice. Let's say I only wanted to display the pop-up to someone maybe who had come through Facebook or something like that. I can go ahead and change the properties right here. And let's see, I can choose a new property and say, let's say they're coming from a location. So they're geographically located in a certain area, or maybe they're on a specific type of device, or they're coming from a specific URL. So those are the options for segmentation. I'm gonna leave that off for now. I can also schedule the pop-up so that it only runs during certain hours of the day. You could see this being really useful. Let's say you were, a local business and you had only a limited number of hours where you accepted phone calls. Well, maybe you have a tooltip show up over your phone number only when you're closed, so that when people go to call you, you can just pop up a little notification saying, hey, we're not open right now, but you can still give us a call and leave us a voicemail and we'll get back to you tomorrow. Just don't expect to hear from a human right at this moment. Just little things like that. You can think of creative ideas, how you could make use of a tool like this. And then there's some styling options here. We're just gonna leave those as default for now. All right, I'm gonna hit save. This is a very bland, what I should do is actually say use coupon code 10 off or something, right? Okay, there we go. And I'll give this campaign a name. So the first thing we did was name the project, and I'll name the project the website. And then the campaign will be, pop-up exit intent. That's what I'll call it. And we'll hit save name. All right, it should be ready to go in terms of the design and everything. Should look the way I want. Now, if I want to kind of test it out, they have a preview mode over here, and you just click on this little eyeball, and that will show me the preview. Now, if I go to leave the page, I should see the pop-up. Sure enough, there it is. All right, great, a little plain looking, but that's mostly my fault. I was just kind of trying to get the idea here. And then I've got some other options. The next one down below here, it teaches me how to install this on my site. It looks like the command key if you've ever used a Apple keyboard. All right, so I'll hit this, and basically all I need to do is copy this and inject it into my website. It says either within the head or the body tag, so that's pretty liberal. I'm gonna head over to ThriveCart, which I already have open here, and I'm on the specific checkout page for this product. So I'll go under in ThriveCart. This is how it works. Use whatever application you're using to find the area where you can inject tracking. So what you're going to want to do is do the custom tracking code, and I actually already tested it out here, so it's in here already. But I'll go ahead and paste that in, and just go ahead and hit save and get URL, and wait for this to update. Great. Now here is my URL, although it's going to be the same one as what I've already got here. So I'll hit close. So to test this out and make sure, it's not just running because of that Chrome extension, I went ahead and opened an incognito window, and let's paste in the URL here. All right, so there is the checkout page. Now, if I show an exit intent motion, I should see that pop up, and sure enough, there it is. So that's a pretty cool function, because if you've ever used ThriveCart, there's no real way to add any extra assets to the page unless you're using an additional tool. I actually did a Reboot review a few weeks back and demonstrated how you could restyle a checkout page in ThriveCart. Well, this lets you add even more functionality in terms of pop-ups or tooltips or any other of the elements that we're seeing inside the app here. So very, very cool functionality in my opinion. All right, let's look at another use case here. I've got a WordPress website and I want to add a countdown timer so that it gives a little bit of urgency so people know that a sale is ending. All right, let's go ahead and create a new project inside of Tooltip. I'll turn on the extension right here. I'll give it a name and I'm going to call this CA Demo because this is the client amp demo subdomain. I'll hit create project and there the Tooltip commands show up. I can add a new campaign and in this case, I'm going to choose a banner. And now I can go ahead and right over here, I have a little icon. I can customize that. I actually want that to be the countdown timer and I can customize the countdown timer to have, either a set end or from the time that it's first launched, it could have a countdown. So it's kind of an evergreen timer in a sense. For now, I'll do a set time. So it's going to have, it's going to start the countdown with hours. I could choose that to be days if I wanted to, or even minutes. You know what, let's do minutes and we'll have it end on July 2nd at 12 p.m. That sounds good. And at the end, I can have the campaign go away. So I'll do that. All right, there we go. I've got a little countdown timer already running, 966 minutes. Maybe that doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's go ahead and back and change that to hours. And there we go, 16 hours and 6 minutes. Great, I can say use coupon code SAVE10 to save 10%. And then there's another option over here to add a button. In this case, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, so I'll just leave that off. And I can go ahead and hit save at this point. Oh, before we leave, I actually want to, I will give this a name, but let's go and do some more editing. So I'll just call this sale banner or banner sale. Save name. And let's go back and edit. Now, to get back to any elements you've already created, you just go up to this little, it looks like a sheet of paper, maybe a stack of papers, and that'll show you whatever campaigns you have installed on your website. Remember, campaigns are like elements. So right now I've got a banner down here, and I can go ahead and hit edit, and that'll show up at the top. But we do have some settings that are pretty important to change here. Now, first of all, let's take a look at some more of the formatting that I glossed over from the previous campaign. Now, this white is pretty boring. It's not really going to stand out. So I can actually change the background color. Let's make it, how about this yellow color? I could add any hex code I want. I don't really like the yellow. How about blue? That doesn't stand out with the website, but that'll be just fine for now. And I can also change the color of the text. I do need to select the text before I change the color and go ahead and change this to white. All right, I think that looks pretty good. All right, so now the other options that are up here is you can change the size of the banner. So you can scale that up or down if you want to take up more or less screen real estate. You can bold some items, of course. We have the bold and italic. The A right here is to choose the font. Now, they don't have very many fonts installed. I think there's only 3 or 4. However, you can upload your own font. So that's very relevant for most of you. You might have a specific font you like to use for your brand. And then the other options over here are for alignment. So I could left align this or I could right align it. And of course, I could also add a link to this text so that if I wanted, say, this save 10% to maybe open up the cart and add 10% to it, I could just copy and paste the link in there to apply that. All right, that's all looking good. Now let's change the display settings for this. So I'll go up to those little toggly switches again. We have to first turn the campaign on. And then for this specific type of campaign, it's smart enough to know that you'll probably want this to show on every single page. However, if you don't, you can choose specific pages that you want. For now, I'm gonna leave it on all pages of the site. Go ahead and hit done, and we'll go ahead and hit save, and we should be ready to go. All I need to do is add this code to my website. Now I'll hit the little command key over here, copy this, and let's head over to the WordPress dashboard. I have to close this window. Head over to the WordPress dashboard. And now most themes are going to have a way to inject code. You can see my editor still shows up over here. Let's toggle it off. As I was saying, most themes have a way to inject some code. This is going to be the same way you'd install your Google Tag Manager, your Google Analytics, Facebook ads, anything like that you want to have a pixel installed. You'll put it in the same spot. So in this case, I'm using the Astra theme, but I'll just make sure that everybody's covered here. And we're going to go over to plugins and hit add new. And I'm going to go ahead and type in header. There's going to be probably 3 or 4 dozen different options you have. Although this one is called insert headers and footers. It's the most popular. It's got 700,000 active installs. So I guess I'm going to choose that one based on that credibility. Then we just go over to settings and choose headers and footers. Whoops, I missed it there. And I simply have to copy and paste in that code from Toolset, hit save. And now you want to make sure you clear your cache if you have any sort of caching installed. Now we should go back to that homepage, and that should show up for us. There it is. All right, looks great. Now I've got, just to be sure, that Chrome extension is off, so it's not displaying because of that. In fact, we can double check here. I'll open in the incognito window again, and we'll do this, paste in. And just to prove that it is functioning, it is live. There we go. We got our countdown timer showing up. All right, so that worked really well. Now, I know at least one person out there is banging their head on their keyboard saying, yes, but does it integrate with? Well, the answer is probably no. There are not a lot of integrations so far for Tooltip, but let me show you what happens when you create a form and that data is submitted. So let's go ahead and add a new campaign right now, and just choose this little icon up there. We'll choose add new campaign, and I'm going to do just a pop-up again because it's very easy to add the correct form. So I'll do inputs, and I can change this to say maybe the placeholder is first name. And maybe I'll do another field down here. I'll just do add element, input, and I'll call this one email address. Oops, looks like I'm editing the wrong one here. So it looks like I put it on the wrong line. So let's go ahead and change this. Now there's no way to rearrange these. That's kind of frustrating. Okay, so I'll call this one first name, and then go down here quickly and call this one last name, or excuse me, email address. All right, great. Now that's all added, and I'll go ahead and close this out. Now, if I hit the little gear next to submit, you're probably wondering what's there. It's simply to change the color of the button. There's this option right here. Now I can change the text as well. As you see, I've made it really ugly. You can change, it says action and submit input data up here, but there's no options for it, and there's nothing that's clickable. So I'm not really sure if I'm supposed to do something with that. But right now I'm just gonna ignore it because it doesn't seem functional. All right, so let's go ahead and save this, and I'll show you what happens when you submit the data. Oh, I have to actually put something in here. Enter your stuff and go ahead and hit save. All right, great. I'll say this is a pop-up with form. Save name. All right, so that's been added, and I shouldn't need to do anything additional because I've already installed the code. So if I were to open this up again in a incognito window, I should see that pop up. I don't remember actually if I turned it on. So let me make sure I do that. All right, so let's go to our pop-ups and hit edit. And I don't believe that I did. All right, we have to publish this. Great, and I'll just do it on page load. That's perfect. Hit save, and let's go back to our incognito window and reload here, and we should see that pop up. There it is. I'll enter my first name, I'll enter my email address, and hit submit. I noticed that I can't hit return. That's a big pet peeve of mine. All right, it says success, and then the window goes away. Well, what happens to that data? Let's head over to Tooltip. Now, one really nice feature about Tooltip is I haven't had to show you the login interface at all, and we've done all of this work with Tooltip. So I actually see that as a huge feature, but now we're gonna head over there and see what's going on. Now I did already delete the ThriveCart account just so that it doesn't actually show up to the traffic that's running there, so you're not seeing that right now, but here is the client AMP demo site that we just added. So if I were to have more projects, I could add them right here, add another domain. That's the same thing as going to the page and clicking the extension, it pops up the window. All right, so what we need to do is figure out where that data went. I'm gonna click on this domain, and then I'm gonna see the campaigns. Now I can see right here, this pop-up with form actually has one impression, one clicked. If I click on this, I can go ahead and go over to forms, and I've got one submission, and I can actually export it. All right, then it shows up as a CSV file where right here, actually it's opening up into my editor. Here we go. All right, here's a CSV file with the information. So what could I have actually done with this data? Well, I could take that CSV file and I could upload it to my email autoresponder, or they do have an API, which I assume will be able to reach in and grab that information out. However, I'm not a developer. I have no interest in learning how to develop because there's certainly plenty of tools that are able to do this for me without having to hire someone to connect a pop-up to an email autoresponder. So for me, that's definitely far beyond where I want to go with this. But I will say that everything about this tool is really nice so far. It just needs integrations, and then it'll be a really beautiful thing. All right, there you have it. You can see that Tooltip is fast and easy to use. However, it's so fast and easy, there's not a lot of options for customizing the design elements. You're kind of stuck with what you get. However, if you like what you get, then by all means, go ahead and grab it. The things that are going to hold it back right now are trying to fit in with certain design aesthetics for websites that aren't kind of ultra modern looking, right? Because all of the tool set designs look really sleek and clean, but not everybody's website looks like that. Then the other obvious glaring problem is the lack of integrations, and hopefully that is fixed quickly, or at least in a reasonable amount of time. But I never like to buy anything based on a roadmap myself, so I would recommend Tooltip only if you have a modern design website and if you're trying to just display messages to people, not necessarily gather information from them. So because of all these reasons, I'm going to give Tooltip a 7.7 out of 10. It's a decent buy for some people, just not right for my use case. If this review has been helpful to you and you do plan to go on to make a purchase, make sure you click the link in the description below. That is the affiliate link for this channel, and it does kick us back a little bit of money if you go on to make a purchase. I do appreciate each and every one of you who has used the referral links in my videos. It really means a lot. Now, if you have any comments or questions, make sure you leave them in the description down below. Make sure you hit that like button, and I'll see you in the next review. 'Cause all I wanna be is happy to bring to you.